Butch Jones is gone and the fans are happy. Should they be? Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football, breaking down all the Power 5 conferences team by team, predicting their finishes as well. We will conclude with a big wrap-up show running down the college football playoff as we have gone through the Pac-12, the Big 12, and the ACC, and then we have posted conclusion, summary, wrap-up videos to run down the standings that we are predicting. We've made our way into the SEC. We've talked to Vandy. Now we talk at Tennessee, a loser to Vandy, surprisingly, last year. So the Vols coming off 0-8, their first ever such record in SEC play in their proud history. They won all the non-conference games, 4-0, so it equals 4-8. And, of course, Butch Jones lost his job because of it. Okay, the fans are very happy because Butch Jones built this program to a certain extent, couldn't get over the hump in two back-to-back hopeful seasons in 2015 and 16, and then collapse and turmoil and dysfunction last season. But it was one season. Consider that from 2008 through 13, prior to Butch Jones, this program was 33-41, not even 500, and it's almost impossible for an SEC team not to be 500 overall because they beat up on bad non-conference schedules, and even if they go 2-6 in the conference. 33-41. For 6 years, not for 2 years, 6 years at Tennessee. He brought in top 15 recruiting classes. Then he went 9-4 back-to-back. And sure, the game management on the field and the clock management was awful in blowing games that they should have won. They should have contended for a college football playoff. They were that close. And then it all fell apart. Now it's all going to depend on Jeremy Pruitt in regards to the hindsight on Butch Jones's stay, and we will see. And of course, this season isn't necessarily going to be judged by just wins and losses. Okay, the cupboard is not bare. Butch Jones, even though they had more defections probably than any major team in the country over the past couple of years, much of that talent that he recruited is still there. Butch Jones, the salesman, Jeremy Pruitt, the anti-Butch Jones, nuts and bolts, all work, little talk, let's get the job done. All guts, no shine. Let's see if it works in Tennessee. That sounds like a football coach to me, although he's got to lead a program and be the face of it. But he acquitted himself very well at SEC Media Days in that respect. Can he recruit? Yes, he's done that. Can he run a program? We don't know. He's never done that. He's got an offensive coordinator coming in from USC, Tyson Helton. Look at the surname. He coached for his dad, Clay Helton, as the offensive coordinator at USC. He had a lot of bells and whistles and a lot of talent to work with, of course, there at USC at the skill positions, but no offensive line to speak of at that caliber. So we'll see how he does with Jared Guarantano. Guarantano is the expected starter. By all reports, he will be the starting quarterback, regardless of Jeremy Pruitt just in the last couple of days saying it's a four-man race still. It's Guarantano's to lose. He's been the most impressive in camp and going back to the spring. He completed 62% of his passes last year, 4 TDs, 2 picks, just about 1,000 yards passing. Will McBride is making a run. He's been in the mix. Keller Christ comes in from Stanford. He's got more experience than anybody else, but Keller Christ has been marginal. He's had good games, marginal games, very few awful games, but he's basically been a non-factor. He's a game manager. That's what he's shown us to date. All right, the quarterback play reeks of marginal at this point. All right, Juwan Jennings is back. This guy is a playmaker in big games. Any big game, big play you can think of offensively for Tennessee in the last few years was made by Juwan Jennings. The Hail Mary, the plays against Florida, and the big comeback win that they finally got off the hook against the Gators. All right, he caught 40 passes and 7 touchdowns 2 years ago, only played 1 game last year. He's back. Marquez Callaway, capable wide receiver, 24 catches, 5 touchdowns. You also have Brandon Johnson, who caught 37 passes in the mix. So the cupboard's not bare. Tons of running back options. And the best, I believe, would be Ty Chandler. He's the most explosive, most talented, highest ceiling. Ran for 120 yards in his one meaningful game in which he was given the workload against Kentucky last season as a freshman. Madre London comes in from Michigan State, highly experienced, carried the load there before L.J. Scott took over, but he's not going to wow anyone. He's a workman-like running back who should get 6 to 8 carries per game. Left tackle Trey Smith, 5-star, came in, impressed, did what he was supposed to do as a freshman last year, All-American as a freshman, second team All-SEC as a freshman, stud. Offensive line was a mess otherwise with injuries. They do have 4- and 5-star athletes besides Trey Smith on the roster at offensive line. They should be good, and then they bring in Brandon Kennedy from Alabama. So this team, 0-8, forget it. I'm not saying they're going to win 5 or 6 games in the SEC, but I'm saying they're going to be competitive, and nobody will want to play this team, especially late in the season. All right, defensively, Jeremy Pruitt's, this is his deal. This is his talent, his skill. He knows the defense. His production has been phenomenal on this side of the ball, and most of the production for this team is back from 2017. Kyle Phillips, defensive end, good player. Linebackers are strong. Daniel Batuli led the team in tackles with 90 last year. Cortez Sapp was right behind him with 75. Darrell Taylor wrapped up 4.5 tackles for loss, and Darren Kirkland as well. All right. You've got, no returning cornerbacks, but they do, again, have talent on the roster. Stars by the guys' names that have been recruited. Safety Todd Kelly, good player. Again, good talent, not necessarily productive. We'll see what he brings us. The guys that are productive at safety, 2 of the best in the SEC, Micah Abernathy and you got Nigel Warrior. They both had over 80 tackles last year. Let's get to the schedule. The non-conference, it starts out with West Virginia, and everybody would assume West Virginia is going to kill Tennessee. And yeah, so they have a more cohesive and known team. Will Greer running the controls, plethora of wide receivers, running backs. We've previewed West Virginia. They're really good on offense. The defense is marginal at best. All right, Tennessee probably has as much talent, if not more, on its roster than West Virginia. So this could be an intriguing game. If they played later in the season, I'd really be calling for an upset here. But West Virginia wins, and Tennessee wins the other 3 non-conference games against the lightweights. Typical SEC schedule here. Okay, they get a rough go in the other division with Alabama, who they always have to play, and Auburn. Alabama and Auburn for Tennessee and Jeremy Pruitt. Not a good situation for his first season, but think about it. The rotation will move off of Auburn for later seasons when maybe they have a chance to contend in the division. So maybe that's a good thing long term. Of course, they've got to deal with Georgia and South Carolina in particular in their division. They will lose those games almost certainly. The win potential is against Vandy, of course, and also some combination of Kentucky, Missouri, Florida, the other teams in the Eastern Division. I say they win 2. 2 wins and scaring a few other teams. 2-6 for the Vols. They get the 3 wins out of conference. The West Virginia game obviously would be pivotal to postseason play or eking out 3-5 in the SEC. So they just miss a bowl game. 5-7, 2-6. Need to hear from you now. Leave your prediction on the Volunteers in the comments section. Remember, we've got a newsletter coming out the first week of the college football season, September 3rd, with facts and trends and stats that you won't find anywhere else, and my take on the weekend's play, plus a channel update right here on Mark Rogers TV. Just leave your email to MarkRogersTV@gmail.com. And, of course, comment, like, and subscribe all the videos to help us out as we push this forward with the best analysis in college football. Right here on the voice of college football, Mark Rogers TV.